If you never worked at a salon before and you want to kind of get the inside scoop of how it works in a salon, this video is definitely going to give you some information that you really need. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, y'all. So there was a point in my nail career that I wanted to work in a salon. So I went to a bunch of different nail salons and asked them, do they have availability? What would be the cost for the chair? And I found one. And the one that I chose was like a predominantly Asian salon. So there were a lot of Asian people there. But the guy initially, when he hired me, he was cool. He was like, oh, what school did you go to? Let me see pictures of your work or whatever the case may be. That's going to determine the percentage that I'm going to take out from your pay or whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. So it was going good. I went in that day. He texted me later on and he told me to come in the next day. He would have like my desk ready for me. So I wasn't really skeptical or nothing because there were other black girls there. So it was cool for me. Let me tell y'all where it got a little bit out of hand. So primarily when you go to a salon, they offer you like 40-60 where you would pay them 40% of your work and then you would then bring home 60% of whatever work you do. You get 60% of that. So for example, if you do a polish change, overlay, pedicure, manicure, whatever it is, you would give them 40% and you would keep the 60. So me being a numbers person, when it come to my money, I was like, ugh, I was really skeptical about that because I'm like, 60% of my money is not enough. And giving somebody 40% is a big chunk of my money. So I negotiated with him. I was like, I don't like the 60-40. I think it should be better. And he was like, oh, okay, so I can do 70-30 because your work does look good. And then, you know, depending on how you do in a couple of weeks, I could do 80-20. And I'm like, all right, cool, bet, we good. So my first day there, I meet the girls. They're really cool. Like, I have a very fun personality and I go into everything with an open heart. So it wasn't a thing about, you know, me going in there skeptical about girls. Like, I don't worry about that stuff. When you in a salon, there's going to be drama, or just amongst a bunch of females, there's going to be drama, there's going to be gossip, there's going to be all type of stuff. It's up to you to kind of focus on what you focus on and get up out of there and go home. Don't spread yourself too thin because you know how girls get to acting funny. So, you know, we've been in high school before, so we know how that goes. So I always was like, when I go to work, I go to work. But I'm going to still be cool, you know what I mean? But don't try me because then it could get... But anyways, my first week working there or whatever, he was like, okay, we're going to start you off with pedicures. That's where I drew the line because even in nail school, y'all, I told my instructor, like, I don't want to do feet. I don't want to touch them. And if you know, you know. When you're in nail school, the people who come get the discounted services for pedicures, their feet be a mess. It's like you should not be disrespecting the students coming in here with your green toenails. Like, that's dead wrong. And you know that. But I was just traumatized from nail school, from doing pedicures. And I was just like, I don't want to do pedicures. So when I went into the nail salon, he basically was like, yeah, you have to do pedicures if you come in, or if you work here, whatever, it's like non-negotiable. So I'm like, whatever, I guess I'll do them. So the system that he had in his nail salon was, you basically write your name on a list when you get into work. So whoever's there first goes first, second, third, fourth, and so on. You basically write your name. So it goes to the list, so it keeps rotating. So say, for example, you're number one on the list. If somebody walks in for a polish change, which is like $5, $10, you have to do it because it's your turn to go. So that I didn't like because it was like a gamble. One day, oh, I'm so sorry. But it was like a gamble. So one day you would get a full set. The next day you might get pedicure, or next hour you might get a pedicure. Then boom, a polish change comes in. If it's your turn, you have to do whatever service the person comes in for. And I just couldn't stand that, y'all, because sometimes I had to sit there and do a polish change on somebody who needed a pedicure, and I would be touching their crusty, dusty feet trying to do a white gel polish change on somebody with dusty feet. Like, girl, you're being cheap. So that's one of the things that I didn't like. So the second thing is the speed. When you work in a chop shop or a nail salon, y'all, you gotta be moving so quick. It's not a thing about taking your time. They want you to be in and out. They do not want you sitting here making sure everything is perfect. They don't want you sitting here making sure you have good retention. They don't care about that. They will tell you like, oh, you're using too much acrylic or whatever the case may be. But it's all about speed. They want you to be very quick, very efficient. It's not about taking care of the nails. It's not about caring about the person. You need to be fast. That's all they care about. The next thing is your products and materials and your supplies. When they take out that 30%, it's not like you can use everything that they have in there. Majority of the stuff that they have is outdated. The gel polishes are very old. They don't supply you with brushes. They don't supply you with the right supplies. Like for example, I had to bring my own monomer because I didn't use MMA. In the nail salons, they predominantly use MMA. Like all you're gonna see is MMA. I did not want to use that, so I had to buy my own monomer. But by the time you calculate your products that you're using, your acrylic powders that you're used to, like if you love young nails, you love not polished. Granted, some of the salons had not polished, but still, I love Speed Clear from I love Speed Clear from Young Nails, so I would have to buy a big jar of Speed Clear. Mind you, that's coming out of the money that I make every week. I like a certain type of polish, a certain type of top coat, a certain type of base coat. That was so annoying. Also, the girls in the salon, y'all, they will be touching your products. They'll touch your stuff. You'll go home, come back the next day, like, where are my nippers? Where are my, where's my, what are these called? But yeah, your supplies being touched inside of the salon. You'll go home and come back the next day. You'll have nippers missing, clippers missing, top coat, polish, dehydrator, primer. Like, so much stuff was going missing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, who is touching my stuff? To the point where people are writing down their names on their property because people were still taking them. Like, it was so annoying. And it's annoying because you invest in your products. You want the best of the best. So when somebody's touching your stuff, it's like, girl, buy your own stuff. But then it's like somebody taking 30% of their check. They can't even afford to buy their own stuff. And also, another thing at the chop shops that I noticed too, the way that we sanitize our products coming out of nail school, or just learning that you're supposed to sanitize after every client. You want to have 4 and 5 different cuticle nippers. You want to put them inside of the baggie so that they can be disinfected and stored, and then you just pick that up when you're ready to go to the next client. When you're in the salon, what I noticed is that they do not be changing out the supplies, the nippers, clippers, pushers, and things like that. And that is how fungus spreads. That's why majority of the people who I did pedicures on had infected toenails, had fungus, had just the worst of the worst. Like, the feet inside of the nail salon are terrible. And these people come in there expecting top-notch work for minimal pricing. When you work inside of a nail salon, you can't really charge how much you want to because they have a paper or their menu or whatever, and it already has the prices on there. So those people will be like, I thought a pedicure was $40, and they have callus. You could build a mountain with the callus. Their toes are curved in and just terrible, and they want you to do that $20 pedicure and make sure you clean up everything. And you got some of them that will be like, oh, you missed a spot, can you scrub a little more? Why am I doing all that for a $20 pedicure or $40 pedicure? And then, let's talk about the tips, y'all. These people in the chop shops are so cheap. Like, I don't need them to be my customer. I don't need them to be my client. They will tip you, like, for you scrubbing their fungus feet, their stinky feet, they would literally tip you $5. Like, girl, what? I just did all this work for you to come give me $5? Your toes never look this good. Like, are you crazy? So I feel like if you know your worth, don't do it, sis. Do it for the experience, but don't do it long term. Like, you should not be at someone else's nail salon for more than, I'm gonna say, honestly speaking, because you know people gotta stack up their money, more than a year. After a year, you need to be sure to go get your suite. You need to be sure to just use that as an opportunity to build clientele. You get what I'm saying? Do not make that your long-term goal, because you're giving these people your money. You're giving them 30% of your check. You're giving these people 30% of your check, 40% of your check, and it is not worth it. You need to save up your bread and go get yourself your own salon and your own suite. Another thing that I noticed as well was the tips. When you sitting there getting your tips or whatever the case may be, sometimes when the tips are calculated through the card, you want to be sure to have your receipt books. You want to keep them with you. You want to track it, because they will steal your tips. Like, I had to go off on somebody because they stole my tips. Like, I literally had my checkbook or my receipt book, and I calculated how much I made for the week. Then when I went to go cash out and get my check, it was missing like $100 in my tips. And I'm like, my money is missing. The first thing the guy asked me was, oh, do you have your checkbook? And I was like, I surely do. So I had to show him each and every transaction. And then he was like, oh, it probably was a mistake. Had I not had my checkbook and was really making sure, like crossing my T's and dotting my I's, I would have lost out on money. And from then I was like, you're not to be trusted because you're weird. Another thing is sanitation, y'all. I would literally watch someone come out of a pedicure chair. They reuse the slippers in there. They reuse the nippers. They reuse the clippers. They reuse everything in there without proper sanitation. Y'all be careful with that. Even if you're watching because you just are a regular person, I always recommend it to people, like, buy your own supplies. Go on Amazon, buy you a pedicure kit that has clippers, nippers, pushers. Get your own gel bottles. Get all of that. You can literally go buy your own kit. I had some ladies come in with their own purse, and they had their own nail products and everything that they wanted me to use for them personally. They didn't want me to touch them with any product because they had gotten fungus before. They just seen the cross-contamination. They noticed certain things, and those people are not wrong. Another thing is breaks. When you're working at these chop shops, you do not have an assigned time to go on break or lunch or anything like that. If somebody walks in, you could be just heating up your food to eat for the day. There used to be times where I would not eat for the whole entire day because I was working. They do not give you a lunch break. If somebody walks through that door and it's your turn, you have to go outside, and that's something that I did not like. I'd rather have like a booking site and show when I'm available. If I want to take me a 30-minute break, 15-minute lunch break, I should be able to do that. Working there, it was like I was just working like a dog. I was exhausted every single day after I left work, just annoyed, to the point where I lost my passion for nails. It just was like, I don't want to do this. When you go into those salons, the people who go in there are regulars. You have an older crowd. It's not really the crowd. You have older crowd, younger crowd. It's just such a mix that sometimes you can get lost in it, because if you're a creative, you want to do designs, you want to do this. Some people just like, no, I just want full set white polish. I don't want to upload that on my page. Oh no, I just want full set gel polish, one color. It wasn't really creative, and the prices there were so dimmed down that there was a certain quality of people. So if you do choose to work at a salon, try to go to like those higher end areas. Try to go to those areas where people are spending the money. You do not want to settle for like a low budget salon or just something that's a hole in the wall, because your pockets will reflect on it, and it's gonna take a toll on you, like your creativeness and all of that. So you want to be sure of that. Also, a lot of these people get manicures and short nails, so it's just like, no, it wasn't for me. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna tell you why I quit the nail salon. So the guy who hired me, he was like pretty cool, whatever the case may be. He was Asian. He was a younger guy, like probably 35 or whatever. His parents had handed down the salon to him. So pretty much because he was younger, there were a lot of like, it was a big mix. We had Hispanic nail techs, black, and Asian. So it was a nice mix in there when it came to like culture and stuff like that. So it was cool. So one day, and I sat next to him because he basically was like, I was the new girl. So I was there for probably about 2 months, 3 months, but I was really, really good. Like, the people loved me there just off of my personality. And it was fun. Like, I'm not going to act like it was just a completely horrible experience. There was a lot to learn from it, but it was a lot too. So one day I'm sitting down, chilling or whatever the case may be. I see him and another Asian guy, like he was an older guy, walking up and down. They're speaking their language or whatever the case may be. And then I went to the break room on my break. And the guy that he was talking to comes to the back and he's talking to me. He was like, oh, so how do you like working here? And I'm like, it's cool. Like, what about it? And he's like, oh, yeah, Malcolm is planning to sell me the shop. So I just want to know, how is it? Are the customers good? And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Like, it's okay. And he's like, oh, what things would you change or whatever? So I'm telling him like things that I would change about the salon, but it was what it was. So I seen this guy and I'm telling the other girls, and I asked him, I'm like, so basically, when are you gonna buy the salon? And he's like, oh, I don't know, and probably in a couple of weeks, I don't know yet. So a week goes by, and all of the girls, y'all know, once that man left, I went to all the girls. I was like, girl, Malcolm about to sell the shop. And they're like, why wouldn't he tell us that? I felt like that was so selfish of him, because it's like, if you plan on selling the shop, you should let the girls know so that we can, like, have our affairs in order. If you really were a leader and cared about us, you would give us the option to go or stay, or let us know like what plans you had. Because if somebody buys the whole entire shop, they could literally decide if they want to keep you or fire you. So the guy was basically asking us like, okay, who's the best workers? Because he has some of his own workers. Y'all remember this part where I'm saying he has his own workers. So I'm like, everybody's pretty good here. Like, we have our regulars. A lot of us, people come in and ask for us personally because we give them good service and we're really cool, right? So one day I'm sitting next to him, like probably 3 days after I found out he was selling the shop, and we're doing nails or whatever. And I'm like, why didn't you tell us that you were gonna sell the shop? And he's like, I didn't think I had to tell you guys anything. Like, what does that matter? It's not none of you guys' business. I'm like, it kind of is, because we work here. And if the guy decides to tell all of us to get out, he can definitely do that, and we will be without somewhere to work. Like, you should have told us so that we could prepare ourselves. So he then goes and he's like, oh, I don't have to tell you guys anything. And I was like, you need to calm down, honey. You getting a little bit too comfortable. Like, I'll just ask the question, which I have every right to ask. Y'all. So let me tell y'all where it got crazy. So he's like, no, so basically he's like, oh, I was like, we have every right to ask, like, you're weird, like, what the heck? So I'm doing nails. So the girl next to me, she's been there for like a year or whatever, so she's really comfortable with him. So they had a relationship where it was like very aggressive, like they would curse at each other and say little things. So I would always like, stay out of it, because I don't let nobody disrespect me. I don't start conversations with curse words or any of that. Like, you're not about to try me, so I don't even give you the space or the room to think that we're equal or that you could play with me. You know what I mean? Yeah, y'all. So they had the dynamic where they would talk to each other aggressively and any kind of way. And there would be times where I would have a client that would personally book me, and it would be so embarrassing, because I know that if I were to tell them to like shut up, then they probably would try to argue with me, and it would go too far because I would argue back. So I would just like be looking at my client and they're looking at me, and I'm just like, this is supposed to be such a peaceful, relaxing experience, and y'all just making it real ghetto. So fast forward, The guy ends up selling the shop. So the new owner comes in and he basically walked in and fired like 3 girls. And I was just like, oh my God. So he fires them. He's just like, yeah, I don't think they would be a good fit for the shop and what I envision or whatever. So I let them go. And then he told me, he was like, oh no, let me go back. I forgot this part. So one day, me and the owner, like a couple days later, me and the owner get into it because he disrespected me. Like, he basically, no, this is what happened. I ended up taking my lunch break. He called me and he was like, oh, there's customers here. But I'm like, I'm on my lunch break. I had already left. And he basically hung up in my face. That's the first red flag. First of all, you're not going to hang up in my face. First of all, second of all, I work with you. I don't work for you. Like, that's the great part about being a nail tech. I can take me and my license and go work somewhere else. It's not a thing of, oh, I'm working for you, you can fire me. Like, I don't care about none of that. I can go work anywhere, honey. Anywhere would be lucky to have me. So you're not going to talk to me any kind of way, right? So I get to the shop and he's like, oh, when I call, you need to come back here and service our clients. I don't have time for this. What do you come here for? Do you want to work? Or... So y'all, I'm looking around. I'm looking high and low, up and down. I'm like, his mama must be in here because ain't no way you talking to me like that. Oh, I am talking to you like that. If you don't like it, you can leave. I said, let me shut you up right now because I would have my boyfriend come in here and really rock your socks off. So don't talk to me like that. I'll break everything up in here. I don't play that. Like, I do not play that. And then what I noticed too, like, people of their culture, I never heard them like disrespect each other or have loud disagreements. You're in front of clients and customers yelling at me like I'm your child. So I went off on him, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I cussed his behind out. Cussed him clean out. I packed my stuff, y'all. I started just banging stuff around, just aggravated because I really wanted to turn up in there. I packed all my stuff in there and then I left, right? So a week goes by. At that point, I'm over it. I'm like, you know what? I have an efficiency in my house. I'm about to decorate the efficiency and just start doing nails from home. So then I get a call and I see that it's the salon's number. And I'm like, man, I hope this man not calling me about no foolishness. It's the new owner. And he's like, yeah, I heard what happened between you and Malcolm. And I really want you to come and help me out. I really like your personality. And it's been a week now since I've taken over the shop. And a lot of the customers are asking about you. Where are you? And I'm like, When you leave your mark on somewhere, no matter what, the energy you put out there is going to be reciprocated. Like, people are going to gravitate towards you, and period. They're going to love you, like, no matter what. So I decided, you know what, while I get my suite together, I'm going to go back. And he was like, oh, I'll give you 80-20. And I was like, 80-20, okay. That sounds a little bit better. I'll come back, right? Y'all, when I got back, I was literally, there were only 2 black girls left. So from it being about 7 of us, because it was like 12 different stations. So from it being like a good 7 or 8, there was only 2 left. I was just like, and it had got filled with all Asian people. And this is where it got a little bit uncomfortable for me. The language is like you don't understand what they're saying. It got to a point where I would walk in there and say hello, and y'all, they would look at me and ignore me. So then I began to feel uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, well, I'm soon gonna leave here. So basically what had happened is, when the new man came to take over, it was completely different. They literally made me do pedicures only. The guy was like, oh no, I don't want you doing those. I want you to do pedicures. And he gave all of his people that he came from his old shop to the new shop with, they were getting all of the acrylics. And he was like, oh no, I have to give it to them because in my other shop, they were doing acrylics. They don't like doing pedicures. So it got to a point where I was just doing pedicure, gel polish change. He would not let me touch acrylic. And this is where it gets crazy. So one day I was like, I specialize in acrylic. I don't specialize in pedicure. Why are you not letting me do pedicure? The guy was like, oh, you take too long to do acrylic. You need to do acrylic in 30 minutes. And you use monomer. You need to use MMA, set faster. You use too much acrylic. You're supposed to make the, he basically told me you're supposed to make the nail thin, because if you do the nail too thick, they're not gonna come back. It's gonna stay on for too long. And when he said that, I was just looking at him like, what? And then he was like, oh, you take too long to prep the nail. You just go over the nail with the sanding band. You don't clean the cuticle. Because me, I take care of my clients like how I do my real nails. That's how I do their nails. Like, I'm going to take the time out. I'm going to clean your cuticles. I'm going to do a sugar scrub for you. I'm going to take care of you. I brought my own products to make sure that I can give the quality service that I would like to receive. He didn't want us doing any of that. He showed me how he wanted acrylics done, y'all. He didn't want you to cut the nails, do anything. Time was money for this man. So he was like, you could just stick on pedicures because you don't do acrylics how I want you to do them. Period. So y'all, this is what made me done with them. So basically one day I came in there. It was a really slow day. It was like a Wednesday or a Tuesday, something like that. But basically I came in on that Tuesday or Wednesday, and it was a little girl. She was turning 12, and her mom was like, oh, this is gonna be her first time getting acrylic. I want her to do a pedicure and for you to do her nails first. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I go and do the pedicure for the little girl. She's only like 11 or 12, a little kid. And it's her first time getting acrylic. So I go and do the pedicure, and then we come back to my table. So I'm setting up. Mind you, they were not allowing me to do acrylic in there. But I'm like, it's a little girl. Like, and the lady walked up to me. Like, the guy was in there. He said, how can I help you? And then the lady was like, oh, I want to go to her because I did her mom's feet before. So this girl sits at my table. I put on the nail tips for her. I'm shaping the nails, and I'm asking her, like, what do you want? What do you want? The owner comes and he's like, oh, I'm going to show you a technique for ombre. So he takes out this little puffer thing. When you squeeze it, the powder kind of blows out. It kind of looks like those old-time perfume puffers where you squeeze it and then it blows out the perfume, but this time it blew out powder. He's like, I'm going to show you this acrylic technique. So he takes the girl and brings her to his chair. He tells me to follow him, right? So I'm like, okay, you probably about to show me this new technique, whatever. Y'all, this man gets to land the acrylic. He puts on the powder. He's blowing up ombre, because the girl didn't even ask for ombre like that. So he's like showing the design. So he's doing it on all the nails. By the time he done showing me, he done did all the nails. It's time to cash out, right? So I basically was like, okay. So the lady's like, oh, she wants to tip me $20. So he's like, okay, cool. Y'all, so we had this little app that shows you like what you did for the day. I go look at the app. Why did this man only pay me for the pedicure? I did not need help with you showing me how to do your brand new ombre technique with your little powder puff. I did not ask you for help or anything. You simply told her to come to your desk so you could show me, and you ended up doing everything. Can y'all believe he charged the lady $60 for her nails, for the little girl's nails, and he took that money? Y'all, that's when I was at my wit's end. I was done. I was like, you need to give me my money and I'm quitting. If you don't give me my money now, I'm gonna literally call the police. Like, I'm not playing with you. Oh, no, but I did the work. I said, but I didn't ask you. Oh, I was showing you the new technique so you could do it fast. You know, I'm like, so at that point, I'm like, this man playing with me. Because ain't no way. Like, I don't know if you think I'm stupid because I'm nice, but you got me messed up. Y'all, I went off on that man. So then I'm telling him, matter of fact, I'm not even waiting until Friday to get paid. Pay me all my money right now for the week. I want my bread, period. So he basically is calculating my money, and I have my checkbooks ready. Mind you, the last guy, I knew to keep my checkbooks. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna send you the money. Y'all, this man sent me like $400 when he was supposed to send me about $700. So then I go off on him. I'm like, you guys literally have been treating me so bad. You guys speak a different language. You've been giving me pedicures, breaking my back. You don't have no common courtesy. Like, you're literally treating me different, and I see it. And I do not want to work in your shop anymore. I just want you to give me my money. Oh, what proof do you have? He didn't know I keep my checkbooks and I write down every single service. So y'all, what I did, I called the police. I made them escort me in there. I had my phone recording, and then I basically went through my whole entire checkbook of all of the work that I had did in the day. And then I ended up matching it. So he basically added all of the work I did, but he didn't add the tips. So I had the tips already written down on my checkbook. So my receipt book. So basically, when I was with the police, I said he is missing this and this amount of money. So he was like trying to act. I said, sir, let me tell you something. Forget the police. I would literally call the health department on this place because I know what y'all got going on in here. Like, do not play with me. I will call them every single day until you pay them every single dime that you took from me plus more. I am not the one that you want to play with. Because I'm not going to just knock down your little cheap polishes, baby. I'm going to make sure you pay for that. Once I said that I would call the health department, y'all, this man sent me all my money. Every single penny. Then all of a sudden, like the clients that I was getting before I had gave them my number, because I was been planning to leave. I told y'all when I walked in there, the people were not talking to me. So I was just telling them like, yeah, it's been really different. I don't like the vibes in here, so I'm gonna leave. And she was like, yeah, I don't like it either. It's very different in here, whatever, and I don't feel comfortable. And let me put this into perspective. The whole entire time that I was doing nails there, and I was there for about 4 to 5 months, but let me put this into perspective, and I want you guys to understand this when you go into the nail business. The majority of women who are basically keeping these places afloat are black women predominantly. Like, it's mainly black women who are keeping these people in line. I literally watch at the nail salon when somebody would say they don't like something, the attitudes that the people would give them. They start speaking a different language. They start treating them differently or having the attitude. And I'm like, we're the ones keeping y'all open. I thought that when I went there was going to be such a mix of different clientele. It's literally you get the older senior citizens, and majority, I'm going to say 80% was black women. And I'm not even going to speak because the Hispanics, like, I live in Miami. Majority of the Hispanics I know, they go to Hispanic salons. And that fun fact, I love Hispanic nail salons. Like, I love it. My mom used to go to Hispanic nail salons, and I got really good service there. But I'm talking about the chop shops, y'all. It's black women keeping them open. And black women don't know how much they're supposed to be taking care of their feet, their nails. They don't know how those people are using. They don't know like the type of products that are being used in those salons. They don't have the knowledge of what's supposed to go down in there. They just think, oh, I just want something quick, 30 minutes. That 30 minutes can be the difference between your nail bed being healthy versus turning green the next day, turning black, turning yellow, because they don't care about taking precautions to take care of y'all. They care about the money. That's all it's about. It's about speed. It's about money. It's about getting you out the door. That's it, and getting the next person. We are the ones keeping them in business. So if you are in nail school, I would highly recommend that you take pride in taking care of your clients. Promote that on your page. Educate them. Show them like, I take my time. A lot of people like to rush. I'm a type of nail tech, like, if you're gonna rush me, then don't come to me, because I'm not gonna do the chop shops work. I'm gonna give you work that actually lasts. Like, the clients that come to me, my nails last 4 to 5 weeks. Their nail beds aren't hurting. Like, I'm not giving them fungus. I sanitize it. I give them the proper treatment. I pamper them and value them. So you want to promote that, because these chop shops, literally, like, to avoid going, I would do my own feet. Or I'll just go to like a Hispanic salon. I want to also look into Russian nail techs and stuff like that, because it's just, I've worked there and I know firsthand how it is. I've lived in Miami my whole entire life and I've had my own experiences. That's why that's basically why I decided to do nails, because I'm like, these people coming up, they're using the cheapest products, the cheapest quality, and they're gonna make you pay top dollar every single time. If you don't like something, they don't wanna fix it for you. They have the attitude, they're looking at you back, and they quick to call police on you for any inconvenience. They're gonna call 911, like, no matter what. So I want y'all to be mindful of that. And what I do want to say is that you do want to get salon experience so that you want to learn how to run your own salon. So I know, like, when I opened up at home, I made sure like my nail area was pretty. It was a calm situation. It was tranquil. It was quiet. I didn't have to hear people yelling and screaming and just messing up the energy. It's a place where you can come and relax. And a lot of people love that privacy. A lot of people love to relax when they're doing nails. They don't mind paying extra. And also, the people who can afford you are gonna come to you. You don't have to worry about that one girl who hasn't had a pedicure in 5 months and wants you to touch her dirty toes and give her a polish change. No, you can make your own rules on your booking site. You can literally show what services you offer. If you don't want to work over people's work, you don't have to. Those are things that you learn. You also learn how you want your shop to look. You learn what type of services you want to offer. You want to cater to your clients even more because it's more personalized. So I would definitely recommend trying out a salon if you're fresh out of school, just to get the feel and the experience. But don't make that be your end all be on, and don't jump from shop to shop. Even if you have other nail techs that are like-minded and business-minded, you want to make sure you guys all have great customer service and take care of them, because that's going to keep people coming back. I'm telling you, just post as much content as you can. Post your pictures. Make, positive Instagram reels and show like the care that you take. People are going to book you and charge accordingly. But I definitely think the salon gave me an experience that I needed, because when I do one day open up my own salon, it's going to be ran with such high standards, great customer service. I'm going to personally train everyone that's working in there to literally make our customers feel good, make our clients feel valued, worthy. I don't want my clients to leave there upset. I want them to be pampered. I want my salon to be a place where they can come in for tranquility, have like aroma scents going on, have champagne, wine, have massages going on in there, nice, calm, tranquil music, not a bunch of yelling and ghetto-ness in there. Like, no, I want it to be a luxury experience. And had I not went to the salon to see what I don't want to do, I probably wouldn't have known what I would want for my own salon. So I definitely did learn a lot. So be sure to go in there with an open heart and open mind. But I do suggest you get some type of salon experience, whether you go into a salon that has hairstylists, nail techs, lash techs, or if you decide to do a chop shop. Whatever it is, just go in with the open heart and open mind. Learn what you need to learn. Like I learned where I could order things from. I learned where I could get stools from. I picked up on certain things. There's some positives that came out of it, but overall it taught me that I want better for myself. So that's what I want you guys to take from this video. I'm just giving y'all the tea and everything that happened with my experience. I'm not saying that it's the experience for everybody, but what I am saying is you can definitely learn from certain things and do better. So that's about it. Comment down below if you guys would like me to do a video on something else, and I'll definitely look into it. If I have any experience or knowledge towards it, I'll definitely deliver. But your girl is back. But be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. Bye.